host, Edward Anderson. I've been kind of feeling a little under the weather last day or two, and so I'm kind of, get it back, get it back, get it back. So, shout out to Marty. Like I said, I've been listening to, Marty's, Patreon. And one thing to keep in mind is a lot of people think Marty's Patreon is just photos. So why would you pay $20 for like photos? No, it's actually a whole podcast. The photos just accentuate the podcast, but it's actually a podcast that goes behind the scenes of his YouTube channel and gives a lot of insights that he doesn't necessarily say on actual YouTube. So keep that in mind. So make sure you check that out. Do him a solid, especially if you are considering and going to Brazil in the near future. It is definitely a worthwhile investment. Another thing to keep in mind as well is that for those of y'all that want to obviously be more frugal, we not even gonna play the cheat card, but be more frugal. Keep in mind he's got like at least 500 pieces of content, got a whole bunch of podcasts. So even if you decide to do like a 1 month kind of trial one, you're gonna have more than enough content, especially if stuff on YouTube, YouTube stuff is particularly try. Maybe you got a passport bro fixation, or a passport fixation, you want to really get that get that need met, then his channel is definitely good if the passport bro content is kind of dry. And again, this is somebody that's been in there, that's on the ground. That's not what I want to talk about today though, but obviously that is out there. Shout out to Marty. Also, shout out, another thing I want to put out there is, whenever, fair, I'm not fair for fair sake. It is what it is, and I'm gonna say it. But what I also like to do is I like to acknowledge certain things. So if I cover a topic, especially I've done more than one video. This is true for Joe Budden, even though he gets on my nerves. Joe, with that, with the situation he had with him being, the indecent exposure, blah blah blah, that he did get dismissed. I like to cover the full story, meaning what was the outcome of that. Not no, we're just gonna kick somebody when they're down and then pretend that nothing happened after the fact. He went to court, he won that case. And I give people that credit because that is just, I'm not a journalist, but that is just the honorable thing to do. Covering stuff when it's bad and then acting like it didn't exist, that's propaganda. Make sure y'all let yourself be known. If you see it, press 1. I know I got the black screen going on. Press 1 so I can know you're there. So I know I'm not talking to myself. Somebody take that plunge. And so, wow, yeah, all right, I see it. All right, appreciate it. I don't need y'all to speak. I just need to know. Okay. And so with that being said, we've given a lot of criticism to Travis Hunter. And it's not really criticism in a bad way. I want to see this man be successful. I don't want to see this man get tripped up. Shannon Sharpe is, and this is not about Shannon Sharpe. It is, but it isn't. Shannon Sharpe, right now, and what he's dealing with is the perfect. This is what we did not want to happen to Travis Hunter. And it is very unfortunate that this stuff has to happen to Shannon Sharpe. There is a lot of things that you can look at him that's saying you should have obviously went this versus that. Number one, this chick is even if you put the age gap aside and understand how these chicks are triggered, keep it 100, Hoes Mad News, that's his thing. I'm definitely about to start using that. HEA X Mad News, I'm definitely about to start using that. He usually say HOEZ. But the fact that she was the OnlyFans model, that should, and look, technically Tyrese chick wasn't that and it still went bad. But the fact that chick was the OnlyFans model, that's an obvious red flag. You should have knew money was on her mind. And she always used to sprinkle in money. So my thing is, here's the thing: if you offered her $10 million, which that's been confirmed that he did, which I don't know why he offered her that much money. I don't understand why they didn't take it, because now Shannon Sharpe has no incentive to really pay you out more, because you already done blew the bag off of him now. Right or wrong, that's why he had to low-key step away from ESPN. Who knows what that's gonna be? But the reality is, you should have knew she was the OnlyFans model. What that was, you should have paid her in the front end, so you don't gotta pay her in the back end. That's what you should have did. because then it makes it look a lot worse. And when she tries to tries to get you for more money. I mean, it is what it is. You dealt with her for 2 years. She wants a payout. You shouldn't have dealt with her if she was acting that way. You should have just moved on. There's other chicks. I don't know. Chom Joyner had it right. Michael Bazin had it right. I don't understand why you niggas, for all you niggas that play you need to play here. Shannon Sharpe, let's be very clear. And this is not about Shannon Sharpe, but let's be very clear about Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe can probably beat most of y'all ass. Shannon Sharpe is an NFL player, and he has kept his, physical for his age on point. Let's just be very real about that. Shannon Sharpe has a physical currency, social currency, because he's still relevant. He's on mainstream TV as well as his own social media. So Shannon Sharpe, he has the money to stay. He has the currencies. He's still known. He's known for a new generation of people. He has the currencies, right? He has pretty much all of them, right? So this is not but this can happen to anybody, because it's not about if they like you or not. It's really about what these chicks are on today. And it's not even a certain age. They can break bad. And you have to be prepared when they decide to turn into witches to do battle. Now, for Shannon's sake, this stuff was known. This is if people knew you were dealing with a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, yes, Shannon, you would have got clowned. Because the same stuff people saying about Travis, they would have said about you. That this chick, that same stuff would have been valid. And once you, her being an OnlyFans model, you dealing with her for 2 years, that's crazy. That's crazy. And this stuff has happened too many times for dudes. And look, Shannon wasn't not cautious, but unfortunately, we live in a society where two men can have sex, and that's called other heterosexual men will say what a man does with another man in his bedroom is his business, which is absolute bullshit. Any man that says that is a coward. I'd rather you say, I prefer not to talk about such things. I'd rather you say that. Be like, yeah, you know what? I prefer not to talk about such things. I just don't want to talk about it. Well, why I don't want to talk about it? I don't want to talk about it. It's not like, gay marriage is legal. Regardless of how anybody feels about it, gay marriage is legal. Gay people can adopt. What is it? Last time it was said, gay black men make the same amount as heterosexual white men on average. What is it? What is it to talk about? Well, what about Hollywood? What do you think about Hollywood? I'll say that anybody should be able to live in their truth. And I think they should live in meaning they should disclose that that's what type of time they're on. Point blank. So that's what I'd rather dudes say. I'd rather not talk about such things. Just like you ask a rapper about politics, I'd rather not know what a man does for another man. I mean, are you appealing to the gay community? No, you're appealing to women. So my point is that we live in a society where dudes will say that, but Shannon Sharpe can be critiqued for dealing with. Nobody's debating if he knew this chick before she was 19. She's 21 now. So, and he met her. So what's the issue? He met her at the gym. Now she could argue that I don't care what she says. You don't deal with somebody for 2 years, and then you creeped out by him. You wouldn't want to deal with him. There's OnlyFans chicks that tried to play Omarion and say he's too old. So let's stop playing games with that. The end of the day, but at the end of the day, you deal with somebody that's younger, that much younger. It's not what they do in the bedroom is their business, or what two consenting adults do. Now she's too young, and I'm telling you right now, I'm probably gonna go fully automatic on this one. It's not personal, but I'm going to do it Just understand, because somebody left a comment that I want to address, and I may kind of get real colorful with the language, and I'm just letting you know that right now. You live in a situation where if a black man dates a white man, a white woman, then that's not two consenting adults. That is, people clearly have an issue, which is why Umar panders and other people pander to black women on that. Michael B. Jordan literally has to like really think about how he wants to be seen when it comes to him being around white women, even though black women was playing in his face for the longest time. So, but when it's black women with white men, it's not an issue. Black men are not on Serena Williams' case. Black women are not on Eve's case. Black women are not on Alfred Ritterd's case. Diana Tracy. Black women are. People ain't bringing up the fact that Tracy Ellis Ross is mixed. Ain't nobody doing that, because black men don't care like that. If anything, when we bring it up, it's the hypocrisy. And even on the age gap thing, it's the hypocrisy. Just like how you females, and this is not even a chick that left this, I don't think, but just like how women like talk. Let me be very clear. Let me be honest. Let me be honest. I'm short. Let me put out there full disclosure. But if you're like for instance, I remember, and shout out to the lead attorney. But lead attorney said he got a thing for like 5'1", 5'2" Latinas. Lead attorney said he's like what, 6'2", 6'3". So if a chick is 4'11", 5 foot, and the dude is 6'4", if I say, oh, he must have a fetish with fucking kids because he's that much bigger than somebody that's 5'1", 5'2". Now, women don't care. Why? Because women are typically on the shorter side. And let's be clear, women will get pushback from other women if you had women like Six the Goddess that try to run that play. She will get pushback from women, and women like that. Like for instance, I believe Danica Marie is 5'7". It's very clear that men tend to take to Danica Marie more than 6, at least online. Now, there's other reasons, but if somebody were to say something with that, then they will get pushback from women because more women are shorter than they are taller. And there's no way to kind of trick your way out of that. There's no way to kind of gaslight your way out of that. That's going to be between women, and all these women want taller men. So the short women are like, you're not about to box us out, and it's more of us than you, and that shame and verbal violence that women do, that's going to go one way. So taller women, the only time taller women are generally wanted in that way is if they're models, or if you're dealing with athletes that want taller women for kids. They have that kind of mentality, whether they're athletes or they're athletic. Those are only two real realms. So generally, that's not, if you're over 5'7", like that's not considered an advantage because it limits your options. And so all this is kind of me setting the table right now. So my point is, if I were to say that, like you're 6'4", but you dealing with chicks that are 5'1", 5'2", see, men can be 6'7". A man can be 6'7", damn near LeBron James, and say they got a preference for fun size chicks, and nobody says anything. I'm not saying they should. I'm not alluding they should. I'm just giving an example that if you got Tracy Ellis Ross openly saying she likes to deal with young, gorgeous men. That's the word she said. Jada Pinkett, same thing. These women have this, it's well in the black community. I know dudes that when they were 22, 23 years old, they had like 23 years old, they had like 3 kids with 3 different women. Their youngest baby mama was 10 years older. Nobody says anything. Not really. Not to the point where it can affect people's economic opportunities. It's just, it is what it is. Now, this is coming from the same society that will say that women develop faster than boys. We definitely know the average pound for pound woman has way more sexual experience and sexual encounters than the average pound for pound man. That's been true for like since the 2000s. I would argue that's been true since the 90s and late 80s. That's been true since I was born. Shout out to Sanitos Clutch. I see you in the chat. I'm kind of away from my phone, but I kind of see it. That yellow, green, and red. Let's keep it all the way 100. Let's be real about this. And so when I hear heterosexual men talking about what another man does, what a man in his bedroom, is his business, my first reaction is, yo, shut the fuck up, because I know you don't believe that. I know you don't believe that. If you say, okay, cool, do you have any gay friends? Well, have you ever had any gay friends? Well, I wonder why not. Because you can't tell me you don't interact with gay people at all, whether it's work, whatever, especially in entertainment. So why? Why don't you have a gay friend if it doesn't matter? This is why I respect, Corey can get on my nerves every once in a while. I respect Corey because you got motherfuckers. And the reason why this is important is because it ain't even about, it's mind control. Understand that most of what the fuck you all believe, you only believe because it's a penalty to believe the opposite. Most of you niggas don't stand on shit. I'll give you a perfect example. SWP is an advocate for firearms. I can go either way with it. I can go either way with it as far as what my preferences are for me. But yeah, everything he said, shout out to Charles as well. Charles Faulkner. They say makes sense. Black men definitely should have an awareness of what guns are. You could say they should be armed, but we definitely should be smart about if we want to get armed, how would we? Definitely. I should know a little bit more about that. Definitely. And, but you'll have dudes that'll be like, nah. And let's be real, you don't believe you should. Usually, because white people, if they know you're armed, you stick out like a nail. Your threat level goes up, and y'all don't want to bother white people. That's not the only reason, but that's one of the main reasons. Let's just call that what the fuck that really is. Now, rather than having a real discussion about that, people want to talk around shit, and it's the same thing with these sexual political questions or these sexual political conversations. Anyway, my point, I kind of got off track, but my point is with Travis Hunter, congratulations for being drafted second. I'm glad he was. His money hasn't been messed up. Hopefully he don't put a baby in that chick. He make that chick wait a little bit to see if she gonna act right. So kudos to him. I'm glad. I'm not on this, yeah, that's what you get. I'm glad he got drafted second. Shedeur Sanders still waiting to get drafted. This actually might be a blessing in disguise because he may be on a better team in a better situation than just going to a trash situation, because he can always be traded. And obviously him and Prime are definitely, they know how to move through career uphill climbs. So that actually might work out for him. So kudos to him. Hopefully he gets drafted soon. And it is what it is. I'm going to leave that there. But going back to what I was saying, so when you hear people talk about age gaps, most of what the fuck y'all are saying is straight up bullshit. It really is. I want to be very clear. 18 years old is a consenting adult. These bitches are fucking way before that. Most of these bitches are fucking at 13, some of them at 12. I know an Ethiopian chick that had a kid at 12 years old. What BGS says about in America and the West, they have this mentality on age. They don't have this anywhere else, not to this extent. And you all ain't never raised a thumb in another culture. You got Arabs and certain motherfuckers cousin fucking, and y'all don't find no business. Y'all don't be saying nothing. The reality is, y'all do this shit to regulate other people, which is kind of why I be like, fuck your opinions, kiss my ass, go to hell, die. Just so you understand, it ain't no debate. You're not gonna do shit. and fuck how you feel. One thing about black men in becoming valuable is you have to not be afraid you have to not be afraid of removing the value you provide from anybody, even your own mom. Because if you can do it with your mom, you can do it with anybody. And you need to be able to do that and have the flexibility of doing that at a moment's notice and being able to protect yourself against people doing you dirty, because usually that's going to be the quickest and easiest way to deal with people. So even if you're like, black men really got to get to the point where even in their own family, they got to be willing to say, you know what, I'm cutting contact. 2 years, whatever. And y'all come to me, or you don't. Because if enough men start doing that shit, these bitches will think twice. Because regardless of what they talk about, the resources still come from us. They just solicit a lot of stuff from the government. But anyway, my point is, so I say all that to say this. So I'm going through my comments because I'm going through my comments, and I had the thing age gaps versus alphabet activity, in which it was a pretty simple premise, like what I just reiterated. Now, before I jump into it, let me go through. Shout out to what's Tony07 writes 499. I remember 3 years ago they were dogging Danny Glover for dating one of his assistants during that time. She was in her mid-50s. I remember that too. Anybody that was dogging Danny Glover, but see, they ain't got nothing to really say about what's his name that played Scarface? Put his name in the chat. You know who I'm talking about? That played Scarface. Very great actor. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. He had a kid recently in his 80s. Ain't got nothing to say. Elon Musk has young women. Ain't got nothing to say. And that's how you know, Tony, great comment, that it's about sexual regulation. And black men need to start drawing real red lines when it comes to that. But too many black men act like bitches, and you all let the women to dictate the game rules and the social norms. Women are not supposed to be able to dictate social norms. Y'all, that's that little boy in you niggas. You niggas rather do shit under the cover of nights than you all rather actually stand firm in what the fuck you believe in, and it is what it is. Damn you. Because you niggas let them chicks make the rules, you just follow them. Them bitches say they want beards, you niggas grow them. Them bitches say they want dreads, you niggas grow it. Them bitches say they want, as Marty would say, shiny belt buckles, you niggas act just like these hoes, and y'all either buy them fake or y'all try to y'all act like these hoes with these bags. They want designer shit. Bitches that ain't never seen designer shit. They want to go to restaurants that they would never go on their own, and you niggas try. Or what you niggas do is y'all try to tell other niggas they should do that while y'all not doing it. Y'all act like whole hoes. Some of you niggas, I was actually just talking to somebody about this. Some of you niggas let Latin women call you the N-word. And as far as I'm concerned, if you let Latin people say nigga, I don't get why you don't let white people say it. And you niggas may feel a certain type of way about it, but I want to see somebody actually make that case. Well, Latin people do this, Latin people do stupid shit to us all the time. And we definitely support them economically. But they saying nigga, and they don't even regulate their own. They, in a lot of ways, these white people, these Hispanics are worse than white people in a lot of ways, because these Hispanics are tryhards. They're trying to jump into whiteness. As far as ESPN not holding the line, it's not. Here's the thing. We know how Disney did with Jonathan Majors. What it is this is a lot here. They're saying, hey, man, this is a lot. You need to go handle that, because we are a family brand. Disney is like, ESPN is owned by Disney. Disney isn't going to hold the line on something like that. They're not. I don't expect them to. They didn't throw them under the bus. They just said, go take a leave of absence to fix your shit. Yeah, Al Pacino. And if it can't be fixed, then, be on your way. That's I don't see that. I don't know what you expect Disney to do. You expect Disney to say, we support Deion Sanders? They don't know if this is true or not. Like, what would you expect them to do now? They didn't fire him. They just said, go handle your shit. This is typically what police do. So anyway, So the reason why I did this comment or this stream is because I got a comment. This right here. So shout out to Cornbread with a Q, and he said some stuff. I looked it up like a paragraph and a half, and I said, yeah, this is gonna be something I want to comment on, but I didn't want to read the rest of it to get a good reaction, a good, you know, fresh reaction. Yeah, this is fine. Y'all can hear me. And so I did see some of the bottom, and I don't know. I'm just gonna comment on it as it is. I'm not gonna give a lot of pre-emphasis on stuff, but I did want to set the table for you all. So Cornbread writes, and this is on my EHBN presents age gaps and alphabet activity. Is there a hypocrisy in morality? Cornbread writes a day ago, for the people who want to be principled, consider that the demarcation in age you accept as being legal is arbitrary, while simultaneously being contradictory to your moral concept of when adulthood occurs. If you want to be consistent and congruent with the facts of nature, then 18 is way too young of an age, seeing that the brain matures around 25. Okay, I'm gonna stop here, and maybe he brings it back, and I'm wrong. Well, let me read. He says, but I don't see anyone arguing that 25 should be the legal age, legal consent. You only get crickets from all of them for hypocritical reasons, for the reasons only serve to grant themselves ethical points by way of defaming position in their opponents. Everyone is foul in this regard when you consider that this country has no problem sending your children to war too. Everyone needs to take several seats and quit playing like they give a damn about children. You don't. Okay. So first of all, Cornbread, I've seen enough of this comment that I can confidently say you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you need to kindly shut the fuck up. You do not know what the fuck you're talking about. So let me educate your dumb ass, because you think I hate righteous motherfuckers that are fucking stupid, at least on this topic. Let me give you an example. Number one, you don't know. It's very obvious in your comment. You don't even understand why the number is not arbitrary. Actually, there is a reason 18. And by the way, 18, it was raised to 18, meaning it did not start out as 18. It was lower. So you have to then look at all of the past generations. Your grandpa, and this is globally, not even in the United States, globally. A lot of y'all need to go to chat, and I'm gonna do this myself. I'm probably gonna do a screen share in which I'm gonna go on Chat GPT. I may go on DeepSeek just for the fun of it. I may go to DeepSeek just for the fun of it. But I'm gonna pick one, and I'm gonna type in age of consent and see what Chat GPT and DeepSeek says. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to upload the video. Not going to edit it. Just so we can see what it says. Because a lot of y'all come in this shit with preconceived notions based on how you feel. I said it before, I'm going to say it on my channel. I do not give a fuck about how you feel. Feelings, feeling currency does not deal with factual currency. So here's why that BGS says this all the time, and so I'll give him credit for that. The reason the age of consent was raised to 18 is because that is the age in which women graduate high school. They wanted girls, females, to graduate from high school. That is why that is the main reason why they wanted to create that divide. That is why 18 was chosen. Number one. And by the way, that war comment really made it so you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That was actually the real congruent to say, yeah, when you tried to give another example, that let me know, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. There's a lot of context. You got a lot of shit that you're putting in there to try to make you seem right, but there's a lot of context, factual context that you're missing in your opinion. That's why it was raised to 18. That's why of an adult. That being said, consenting adults technically for the longest time, up until maybe like, if we go up to pre-COVID, like right when COVID happened, was like 16. It was 16 in a lot of states. And when I say a lot of states, I'm not just talking about weird states. Half your states, it was 16 years old. Half of them. And not necessarily the backwater ones either. Half of them was 16 years old. They still haven't updated the federal marriage rate. Why? Because you have these Afghanis and other cultures that they do arranged marriages for religious reasons, and that leaves room for them to do that with the context of adults being involved. That is what your federal government, with all these hoes in here, women that are in politics now, your federal government did. It was much lower. And see, here's the problem. The problem is people try to take factual information and say you're just advocating for it because you want it to be legal, because you want to do some catch a predator shit. Guess what, you stupid fuck? Anybody would say that, we're already on the way there thanks to y'all. Any of you all that agree with gay marriage, you all are one step before this. Because why do you think when they said they would get gay marriage, they would stop, and they pushed all this tea and extra stuff? They're already pushing that. Ain't nobody really looking at what the alphabet community does when it comes to age and consent and stuff like that. They're not doing that amongst homosexual relationships, because we're not digging into their business like that. There's a veil that a lot of heterosexual folks, because we don't give a fuck about what, we don't look into their business like that. But nobody wants to have that conversation. But my point is, because when you look at, you don't hear this females, older females dealing with younger females and question of age and consent. That stuff doesn't even hit the lexicon, but it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing. We already know what the Catholic Church, amongst other things, R.I.P. Pope Francis, we already know. So they have that veil because, dude, people are not going to be digging into what they be doing. And they got media protection. But that's another thing. That's a whole nother situation. So that's why it's got to be 18. That is the main reason why. From a biological standpoint, everybody talks about the brain. The brain stops developing. Like, for instance, you stop pumping testosterone. You pump less testosterone in your 30s you did in your 20s. That doesn't mean you're a full adult. So that 25-year-old shit, that's some dumb shit that y'all be saying. You grew up in school hearing that women mature more than boys. Just because your brain is still developing does not mean you're not a fucking adult yet. 150 years ago and 100 years ago, the life expectancy of an average adult was 40, especially a man, 40 years old. Just because your brain stopped developing doesn't mean shit. Also, you're talking about brain development. Brain development does not have a lot to do with the reproductive cycle. When the reproductive cycle, and let's not start where it starts, because you all would just use that to get away from the argument. Let's start when it stops. The lining around the uterine wall that allows for eggs to stick for you to have a pregnancy dramatically drops off after like the age of 30. It starts to taper off at 27. It dramatically falls down a cliff at 30 and 31. This is what the fucking wall is. That is actually what it is. It's not based on how you look. It's based on your ability to have children. The part how you look is kind of a visual cue of your fertility value, which is where beauty and stuff like that comes from. This is why old men like younger women, because younger women are fertile. Just like how women like bigger, stronger men because they're more dominant. Protection. For some reason, the women get to deal with their biological imperatives, the men do not. Even amongst what is legal, 18, 21. Because truth be told, it's not even 18. Because it's really not about the age. It's really about the age gap. If you're 50, if you're 55 years old dealing with a 30-year-old, you're still gonna have people feeling some type of way, and somebody like you will go along with that because the real issue is the gap. It has nothing to do with the age. I wish people would stop fucking lying about that. Like, if you say, okay, I won't ever date a chick less than 25 years old or 27 years old, well, that depends on how old you are. If you're 4, you're still going to feel like oh, that's where people are not honest. So they use the lower ages in order to kind of create this, like, this sexual assault thing. So they create it that way. You're arguing. So they try to raise the age of statutory R. So they say now it's under 25 and she's not developed, so she's not smart. Okay, then why does she have rights? If you're saying because men have rights because we're held accountable when we fuck up. If you believe that women are not adults until they're 25, then they shouldn't be able to fucking vote. And it doesn't have to go as extreme as voting. If you cannot tell me what women should not be able to do because they're not fully developed, well, what about men? Men are held accountable like we're adults. We're held accountable like we're adults starting at 16 years old. We got the war thing you mentioned. That's not women. Women are not subject to the draft. Men are subject to the draft, which is, by the way, why men got the right to vote first across the board. So that 25-year-old shit, y'all really be believing that that's like the catch-all be-all. No, it's not. That's some new shit y'all got. And that has nothing to do with the reproductive cycle. Because if you were to wait until, if we were to raise the age to a consenting adult at 25 years old, which, by the way, doesn't curtail the fucking, because all that means is you just create an artificial wall between people over 25 and under. Because under 25, like colleges, these women are still going to be experimenting. These women are, these girls are fucking in high school now. Like, people, like, these social media networks have networked these kids. They got something called Uber Teens now. These kids are fucking now. Y'all act like they're just fucking motherfuckers their age. And my thing is, y'all, it's like people think the bodies don't count. The bodies don't count if they're under 18. If you're fucking a 14-year-old boy and you're a 13-year-old girl, the body still is the body. It's like, if you, like, for real. And I'm not advocating, you know what I mean when I'm saying this. So people act like these kids are fucking less. The men are, the males are, but the women aren't. And then we're not even counting for what they do with each other with same-sex relationships, which are way more advocated amongst females than it is men. Because men still have that, and they, as they should, that knee-jerk no. You're locked into that. Versus women are way more fluid with that bullshit. And they're allowed to be. So, it's about resources. That's what it's about. And my point is, people don't want to bring that up. They want to talk about everything but that. Because that's the real driver of it. This is why you will see this mindset increase as more and more, it's 3 more years, all millennials are in their 30s. Meaning you don't get 20-year-old privileges anymore. This, I'm in my 20s and I'm young. No, bitch. And you're not going to be able to remix 30 into the new, you're not going to be able to remix 30 into the new 20. That's not working that way. So as you see them get older, and if they're getting older, that means a lot of you're going to have the initial millennials in a few years start pushing 50 in like 4 or 5 years. Then now in the extra women are all, they were like the worst generation of females. So they're going to try to stigmatize that as much as they can. It's for resources. Look, this is why you don't see nobody really talking stupid about Tracee Ellis Ross. You don't see nobody calling her a predator. She's getting what she does is her business treatment. The fact that Michelle Obama even sat with her and she's talking about it. They'll talk about that like that's daytime TV. Tracee Ellis Ross is talking about dealing with dudes in their 20s. And not being honest about it either. Because she's paying for them. she's not getting paid by them. So this stuff that you saying, it does not hold weight. It really doesn't. You're talking about going back to this bullshit. You know, for the principle, consider the demarcation in age you accept as being legal. And here's the thing: America has one of the highest age limits. Most other countries don't operate that way, and nobody will hold the United States of America as being like this moral bastion. Most other countries have lower age gaps. I mean, not age gaps, but lower age things. It's not like that. And I'm not justifying shit, but that's not factually correct. So when people say stuff is artificial, what are the norms is what you really need to look at. And the problem is we want to, like, so y'all want to say everybody was just on some predatory, the whole world was on some predatory shit. And basically in 2020 is when we all got enlightened. Get the fuck out of here, man. In fact, I'm about to do a couple of Chat GPT things right now just to get an idea of what I'm dealing with. I'm gonna use Chat GPT, even though DeepSeek is just as good. Want to speak and do some research on age gaps globally, on the global age of consent. We're gonna say so. I'm asking what countries have the highest, because that'll sound suspect if I say lowest. So we're gonna start with highest. Bahrain is 21 years old. Japan is 20. Wow, Japan is 20 years old, which I can see why Japan would be like that. Malta is 8 years. I don't. Where are these countries? The United States is 4. Wait, what the fuck is Bahrain? Bahrain is an island country in the Middle East, in the Persian Gulf. So you already know they're on some be married. Where is Malta located? Malta is another island in the Mediterranean Sea, meaning countries that don't matter. So out of countries that matter, basically Japan and the US are the top. The Japan is 18 to 21 years old. It varies by state because of the Romeo and Juliet laws. In most states, the age of consent is 18 years old, but some states allow exceptions. However, certain states, such as Hawaii and California, may set the age for specific circumstances, marriage, close in age exemption. So those are your Romeo and Juliet laws. So and by the way, so y'all know I'm not lying. Look. So the only countries that really matter, because Bahrain and Malta, no shade, are islands. So let's just call that what it is. Islands in the Middle East. So Japan is an island, you know what I'm saying? Japan and United States are literally the two highest. Which means we are low-key out of the social norm. So unless y'all willing to say everybody's predatory, and notice South Korea is 20 as well, at 5. So we really could say, okay, we can switch America from 2 to 3. Spain is 16. Singapore is 16. Chile is 18. And these are like general. So now you have about 8 states, like 7 states that still have age consent statewide under 18. Ohio is 16. North Carolina is 16. Missouri is 17, Mississippi 16, Michigan 16, Indiana 16, Georgia. Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Ohio are not backwater states. North Carolina is in the top 10. Um, what rank is Ohio in population by states? What rank is North? Ohio is 7, Georgia is 8, North Carolina is 9. So they are all in the top, and Michigan is 10. All those states, except Indiana, are in the top 10 most populous states in the United States. So these are not backwater states. I'm just saying, man. And so, and I'm just throwing it out here, seeing what it says. Um, what countries have the lowest age? No, no. What are the age of consent for most European countries? Let's see Europe. European countries. So this is the West. This is the West based on Western standards, right? European countries with age consent 16. All of them are on here but the UK. The United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, Scotland still 16. The UK is 18. Greece, Hungary, yeah. Most of the main countries. I'm not even gonna get into under that, but my point is like under that because there are countries that are even under that. We're not doing that, but my point is that everybody had like it's how you like, and all these people never feel the same type of way with men. They never feel the same type of way if it's an older female. Let's stop bullshitting. Like there is no such thing as statutory rape that's really recognized in the United States in any real way. If it's a female, if a 21-year-old female is dealing with a 16-year-old, they are not putting charges on her. They are not wasting the court resources. And I'm not saying what it should be. I'm telling you what the fuck it is. So when people come at me with all this shit, like I'm and notice how I'm not even bringing up Latin American countries because I'm just letting you know what the Western norms are, and those are the major European. Those are Western European countries. Those are not like backwater countries like the Czech Republic. And don't even give me. I saw what they said with the Czech. I'm not even repeating that because we're not advocating for this. I'm just telling you what the shit is out here. So when you hear people, coming me with all this bullshit about everyone, no, that's your fucking opinion. And don't even go to religion because religion is where a lot of these norms are based on off of. So as far as religion's concerned, you were supposed to be married before you fornicate anyway. So we're talking about two marriage adults that's supposed to be committed to each other, which is different in the eyes of how it's seen. So you all lack historical context because you all want to be like, oh, anybody that's doing this much, they must really want to fuck kids. Fuck you, man. And a lot of y'all to be saying that, y'all be some of the main ones that either got charges or had close calls with that shit. Y'all be some of the main ones that's closer to that shit. Some of y'all be projecting when y'all be saying that shit. He said the age of consent is 16. I'm not justifying shit. And see, y'all know I didn't go this deep into it when what you call it. I'm not gonna mention his name because he's not on YouTube no more. But when what you call it went through what he went through, I could have went a lot deeper than this. I didn't because I understood. I understood why people perceive what he said in a certain way. And that's kind of on him for putting it out there in the way that he did because that was stupid in and of itself. But let's and I'm not here and my thing is if somebody this kind of if somebody is like, I'm gonna tell you what I really don't like. I don't like how a chick could be like, Okay, 21, 22, 23. A chick could be 25 years old. And if a dude is old enough, you still got, a motherfucker could be 26, 27 years old. And if somebody is old enough, they still got something to say about it. They still got something to say about it. So it's not even about like if they're really in their early 20s. Let's be real. Y'all don't feel like dudes of a certain age should be dealing with a bitch in their 20s. And if they get to a certain age, y'all don't really feel like they should be dealing with in their 30s. Y'all really believe in the you should deal with women your own age. And that's a matriarchal position. That's not a patriarchal position. Even most of your women dating coaches would say a 10-year age gap is preferred because it's that built-in authority kind of there versus when you deal with people your age. Now we can talk about preferences as to what people actually date, but like when you date somebody like even Bezos got with that new chick. Mackenzie is 7 years younger than him, and the new chick is 55 as well. So that's an age that I guess he's comfortable with, but that's still 7 years. Y'all be having shit to say because it's about resources. You all are sexual. It's why politicking is the division of resources. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson, Powernomics. Sexual politics is the division of resources by sexual norms. That's what I'm calling it. Even though they wrote a book on it, that's what I'm calling it. And so when I say someone is sexually politicking, what they're essentially doing is they're bringing up false premises or ad hominem premises in order to really make effectively a sexual argument. To maintain sexual favorables. So as you see women get older and these millennials, these exes are already old. As you see these millennials get older, you're going to see more and more women lie and women basically kick up dust. They'll simultaneously do the same thing they do with race. They'll simultaneously celebrate women dating white men or non-black men, but want to shame men for doing it. And men have to start drawing red lines for that shit. Men have to start saying that shit is unfucking acceptable. And to some women's credit, some women actually recognize this as hypocritical. And this is where you saw Drea Michelle getting as much heat and friction as she got. And that should tell you how serious women are with that. They are that serious because they definitely do not want to be perceived. They do not want that because they see this as a threat. And because you got people that they're gonna say they don't care about what's right. They're gonna say what brings them close. They look at stuff. What's right is what brings me closer to the money. That's what's right. What is right is what brings me closer to the money. What is wrong is what brings me further from the money. Which is why you hear dudes say, well, what another man does in the bedroom is his business. The problem is when you start trying to teach the kids, it no longer becomes his business. It's not just his business, it's everybody's business. How you educate these kids, everybody has a right to. That's a citizen's business. So they have been for 10 years now, they brought it out of the quote unquote bedroom. Even gay marriage was them bringing it out of the bedroom. But nobody brings that point up because you don't want to be labeled as homophobic, aka the new racist, and you don't want your money messed with. And because Hollywood is as Professor Black Truth says, they trade in mind control. You got people that grew up, they think this is right. I wish a female Dumper, shout out to the Dumper podcast. Dumper was talking about how a woman shamed him or tried, when I say shamed him, like she attempted to shame him and make him feel bad because he used the F bomb. I wish a bitch would. I wish a bitch would try to shame me, especially today. I'm like, do you advocate for abortion? I believe in a woman's right to choose. So you believe in the right to choose. That's like me saying I believe in a man's right to fuck somebody up for disrespect. So you believe in their right to choose to terminate a pregnancy. Yes. Yes. Okay then. Kindly shut the fuck up talking to me about morality. Let's keep it real. So when people sit here and they try to come with all this age gap bullshit. I remember even when SWP was saying something about Kevin, and what dudes will try to do is they'll try to say these women don't want you like that. Okay, then you ain't got nothing to worry about. You ain't got nothing to worry about then. But see, in the black community, we buy into this young virile shit because the only thing y'all really got to offer these hoes is dick that they really want. Dick don't build. That's the problem. And these women don't understand that until they get to a certain age, and then now they want to double back, and now they want to be mad at the choices they made. They fumbled their youth. They tricked off their youth, OnlyFans in it up. And now they're upset that they're retired and they don't have a second act. So they trying to make up this bullshit about dating younger men. Y'all have been dating younger dudes. Go ahead and be auntie, be a cougar. Dudes don't have a problem with that because that's target practice. And them dudes are getting paid in whatever nigga trinkets you all are giving. YN trinkets. What? Somebody needs to come up with an infographic top 10 YN trinkets. Top 10 YNs list. A PlayStation 5, a pair of Yeezys, some Jordans to do, Adidas if you broke, and a well-exercised and PC muscled coochie, even though it's younger. Somebody should come up with that. Top 10, a place to stay. Top 10 YN wish list. That way these old chicks, cause we about to have a whole market full of chicks. And these chicks, even if all, and it's funny because all y'all females, but they're getting NBA players. Cool. NBA players are stupid and they got mommy complexes. It's only 450 of them in the league at any one time. Even if they quadruple up, that's not accounting for all of y'all. That's if all y'all get an NBA. All y'all get every NBA player, every football player, and everybody ain't that stupid. So yeah, y'all may get a couple of chicks here or there. They're getting retirement programs. And trust and believe, niggas is gonna get tired of that. Niggas gonna get tired of that when they start coming for them. Dudes will adjust. All right, let me see what y'all talking about. I'm done. I made my point. But just to give you the full comment, this is a full comment. For the people who want to be principled, consider that the demarcation in age you accept as being legal are arbitrary, while simultaneously being contradictory to your moral concept when adulthood occurs. If you want to be consistent and congruent with the facts of nature, then 18 is way too young of an age, seeing that the brain matures at around 25. That's bullshit. Stop developing and maturing. It's two completely different things. That is bullshit what you just said. That is some straight up cap. But I don't see anyone arguing that 25 should be the age of legal consent. You'll only get crickets from all of them for hypocritical reasons, for reasons only serve to grant themselves ethical points by way of defaming the position of their opponents. Everyone is foul in this regard when you consider that this country has no problem sending your children to war too. Everyone needs to take several seats and quit playing like they give a damn about children. You don't. Oh, you'd know as much about their physical, biological, psychosocial development as much as you do these fictional characters you watch on screens. This whole beach is trash. That is you basically did an excellent job at saying what I call the most nothing. You didn't say shit with that. You never gave an example of these reasons that are hypocritical. This is a perfect example of speaking in ambiguity where you're not really saying anything. I'm just smarter than most, so I know how to pull from that. But he was righteous. These niggas, I mean, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 for 4 paragraphs. He, spell checked and all. Age gap relationship, the only problem with black men are doing it. Only logical does numerous videos a day showing young. That's another thing too. Ain't nobody never got nothing to say about young black women dating older white men. That nobody never has nothing to say about that. So it's like, yo, and dudes need to start really telling folks, like, look, y'all can go to hell with this shit because y'all are full of shit. Shout out to Scott. Nature does not say you're an adult at 25 years old. You're an adult when you hit your, yeah, like, yeah. And so when he said that, like, you mature at 25, like, dude, the average life expectancy for people 100 years ago was like 40. What are you talking about? Like, let me ask Chat GPT that. So, um, what was the average life expectancy in the U.S. and globally 100 years ago? Let's say 100. So I went in 1925. The average life expectancy was significantly lower than today. Here's a snapshot of average life expectancy. United States in 1925. The average life expectancy. The average life expectancy. Um, the average life expectancy was 58 to 62 years old for women. Okay, that's a lot. That's 1900. Globally, it was estimated to be around 34 years to due to high mortality rates. So globally, the average life expectancy was 40. That don't make sense. Okay, let's see. What was it in the U.S. 150 years ago? Okay, so it was 150 years ago that the life expectancy was 40. So basically, in that 50 years, it jumped up significantly. So, like I said, in 150 years, for account for the fact that we're in 2025, so 125 years ago would have been 1900. So we talk about 1875, which is kind of what I was talking about. Versus 100 years ago would still be 1925, which is not that much further than modern day. So you get what I'm saying. And then you got to keep in mind that World War II hadn't even happened. World War yet. So yeah, 150 years ago it was 40 years old. Biology does not move that quickly. How many generations? So 150 years ago was 6 generations. Biology doesn't move that quickly. So you want to talk about biology and talk like, again, niggas say shit to sound right. The sounds good, but ultimately that shit don't hold up. And globally, it was even worse. Globally, it was even worse. It was that globally. So again, you having a child at 25 doesn't work if you do it at 25. My mom had me at 26. My mom could have had kids earlier, but she had the right to choose. My mom had me at 26, my brother and my middle brother at 31, my youngest brother at 36. And when you look at what she kicked the can, my brother, it was 27. I was 36. Brother was like 30 or 26. Middle brother 31. So yeah, so I mean, it doesn't, like, if you had kids at 29 back then, averagely these kids are not even gonna make it to adulthood, even by your definition of what it is. So it did not make sense. I'm not even going to go into historically what the age. I don't care about that because I'm not trying to. This is not me advocating for dealing with younger people. But what I am saying is, from a sexual standpoint, like, y'all will advocate for people, like, y'all be acting like kids got a right to choose their gender. They can choose to cut their dick off before they're 18 years old in y'all's world. Y'all would be cool with that. It's crazy, and sometimes I think when people are saying these things, it's like y'all act like these people are not having sex. Y'all act like they can't have, like seriously, like the way y'all talk is like they're not having sex. It's insane. So anyway, what did Clutch say? Why do Negro celebrities almost always go for baddies and IG thoughts? If I was famous, I'm sticking with High Plain. Well, the problem is you stick with High Plain James, you end up like you could also get got. Like that's the Shannon Sharp story. But yeah, she was an OnlyFans thing. Yeah, I don't know why they do that too. A lot of that is laziness. It's like y'all are going like it's laziness. It really is. This is what your entourage is supposed to be for, to vet these chicks out. Um, Raiders did not pick Sanders. Yeah, that's crazy. My thing, because I'm gonna tell you right now, y'all like if Sanders like doesn't get picked, I mean he'll be fine if he gets to NFL, but like y'all got that much hatred for his dad. That's crazy. That's crazy. And because you're not gonna tell me that that's not the difference between him and Travis. It's straight up Dion. And Dion ain't done nothing to these white dudes for them to be punishing his son like that. They said I shared an article. Even Trump said that that was stupid. That's crazy when you got Trump saying that. Those millennial black women a decade younger than us, our main dating group. Being freaky don't make you a criminal. It's not even like again. You will never. You cannot show me nothing with these women biological imperatives that they're shamed for today. The way, let's be real. If you're 50 years old, you're not supposed to date a bitch under 40. And these people never want to say that because they never want to get labeled as they're hating. What's up, Andre? He said age of consent is 16 in Canada. Shannon should have made her sign a Yeah, that's also it was that she didn't sign an NDA. He shouldn't have messed with her then. Basically, it's very obvious that this chick was trying. She was trying her best to do is see Boogie calls the lust factor. It's very obvious that she had an idea about doing this to him from the beginning, and this is where again, you got to be careful. 17 is the age in most states. 16 in some. I mean, at the end of the day, most of it depends on how old you are. So like if you're like 25 or younger, or 23 or younger, that's like a consideration versus you're older when you get into that. But let's keep it real. People like to act like it's younger, but the reality is if you dealing with a 26 or 27-year-old at like 38, 39 years old, motherfuckers are gonna have opinions about that. Let's just be real. They're gonna feel like when I hear somebody say that that's immoral, I'd be like, what's the age gap between your parents? Your great grandparents. Like, what are you talking about? Like they say it's immoral because they don't gotta explain it. That's just immoral means I don't feel good about it. Okay, gay marriage is immoral. Homosexuality is immoral. Oh, that's hate speech if I say that. If I say that, I'm a bad person. Even if my religion in my book says it's immoral. You can be in the same religion, you could both be Christian, and you want to argue with me about that. Even Elon's dad is having kids past 70. Another thing is funny is that number of 18-year-old girls who are working in the sex industry and no one is. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because we've been convinced that women working in the sex industry is empowerment until it's not. Until women want to cry about it, then somehow all these men are putting them in there to the point where they try to blame men for bitches on OnlyFans. Somehow, well, the problem is all you niggas and dealing with the P word, blah, 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 blah. So now these women, the money's easy, so of course they're going to do it. Even though these chicks, you can't, the new strip club is OnlyFans. I mean, you got these bitches, a lot of these chicks have like 30, 40 different dicks that's been in them by the time they're 25. That's not uncommon. Like it's like people really be pretending like these chicks are not out here fucking. That's the thing that kind of trips me up more than anything. Is they legit be out here acting like these chicks are not out here fucking. Like for real. I mean, at the end of the day, what it is now, from what I'm seeing, is it's like it's like now it's like ain't nobody picking them up, so ain't no pressure to pick them up. So that's the crazy part. But we'll see. Anyway, y'all, I just wanted to point that out. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all. Again, make sure y'all check out Marty's stuff. I'll be sharing his Patreon and community tab. You know, like I said, his stuff is not just pictures. It's not even mainly pictures. It's actually mainly a podcast. Also, I'll share the channel that I kind of watch with when it comes to the draft day as well. Dude is really good, brother, when it comes to covering football, amongst other stuff as well. Well, older, black women don't believe, in competing for black men. So, and with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.